And just a brief introduction about the Asif sir. Mr. Asif Iqbal is a teaching entrepreneurship and technopreneurship and marketing in the Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Daffodil International University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. And just it is a highlighting features of Mr. Asif Iqbal sir. He is a founder and executive director of Startup Huddle Dhaka Global Entrepreneurship Network. He is a founder and president. It's amazing. He's a founder and president of the Impact Connect Bangladesh. He's a chief executive officer of Global Entrepreneurship Big Bangladesh, and national director and international partner with the World Business Angel Investment Forum. So Asif sir is working rigorously and religiously in the innovation and entrepreneurship. So I welcome you, sir. And now the session is handed over to you, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Rakesh, for giving the introduction, and thanks to Rungta group of institutions for giving me the chance to talk in front of the innovators and all of you. Good afternoon from Bangladesh, and I'm really happy to be a part. And as we are we are neighbor countries, and I mean, I have a lot of great connectivity over there in India. As Prof. Rakesh told that, I mean, I'm being part of Bangladesh startup ecosystem for last 5 to 6 years, but also be part of Indian ecosystem, and I really closely work with some great bodies like Indian Angel and so on. So, and also there are a lot of other people who are actually working. You know, just before the program, I mean, confirm a deal in investment in Estonian, one of the Estonian startup just before the program. So one of the Indian guy was there. He was from IIT Kanpur. He was actually coordinating the whole process and so on. So let me share the screen first, and then I'll be actually talking for, let's say, around 20 30 minutes. But I'd be really appreciate to have questions from you, so that this session could be much more interactive and so on, because this is a very short session, and I think I'll make full use of it. And as just before going to start, another thing I'm telling that this is the third meeting with Prof. Rakesh with me. I was in India most probably in 2019 when I first met Prof. Rakesh, and then I invited him here as well. So it was a pleasure meeting you, Prof. Rakesh, and the team of yours. And let's begin the program. And today's part is like, it is a big thing, like starting a venture, but I will actually try to cover it up, I mean, in a shortest possible way, so that actually you'll get a, you'll get a good understanding on what is happening or what you're supposed to do in the early stage to become a startup or venture owner. So before going to start, I must tell another thing that I mean, in the COVID situation, COVID period, we are actually seeing the tremendous changes. I mean, in last 10 months, we actually seen that, I mean, we have ahead of more than 10 years in last 10 months, 10 years, sorry, 10 months in terms of a lot of sectors. Like we are in a very problematic situation, but somehow there are a lot of possibilities actually come after it as well, because just because of COVID-19, we are here in, like, we have actually thought of doing a lot of webinars, a lot of online activities, a lot of online program, online classes, and so on, by which I am connected with you today. And within this pandemic, how Zoom actually works, you can see, most probably you already know that. And as we are also, I mean, doing this program in Zoom as well. So Zoom is a great example of how they are actually managing I mean, managing their startup and giving a great impact on a very problematic situation to an opportunity. So it is a great example, Zoom's one. And there are a lot of other things, like in terms of healthcare, in terms of education sector, we have seen dramatic actually changes, and there are a lot of activities, lot of changes, lot of adaptability going on in terms of Bangladesh as well. And as I'm teaching entrepreneurship in Bangladesh, I'm teaching in the university, one of the largest university in Bangladesh. We have seen a lot of changes, but during this pandemic, I'd be happy to say that in from day one to till now, my university actually didn't stop for any single day, because from the day one we had that mindset to do all the things online, and I really I feel proud that I actually led that team and do whole automation process within the university in terms of office management to the education to a lot of things. So it was a great learning for me as well during this pandemic as well. And not only that, I actually been part of a lot of other universities in terms of their automation process as well. So these actually wouldn't possible if the COVID wouldn't come. So another thing very important that as I told that I'm being a fan of Indian startup ecosystem, and also being part of a lot of networks like Indian Angel and so on. So I have actually closely look after the ecosystem of India as well, so that I actually learn something more, and can be very inspiring for our startup as well. You have seen, you know actually these guys, it is your guys, and they are actually tremendous in terms of what they have built. I really appreciate this man, Baiju. So what he has done, even Ritesh and everyone actually, and recently Creed, what they have done, they just phenomenal. So all of them have a great story. So they are very young, they are very energetic at the same time. What they have done, you can find very similar on the next slide like this. So they all have started their own venture. They never, most probably never thought of their doing any job for other company, or maybe they have they have done job for other company, but what I say, they have thought in mind that after some days I'll get some money or something like that, so experience and money, then I'll start my own venture. And they will have something more common in terms of this, like they all are actually follow their passion. So all of them, like all these guys actually follow their passion. Even I found this man's journey was phenomenal. I really appreciate Ritesh journey, and you might actually look and see how he has done, how he how much pressure he had taken in his Eastern life as well, to look after his dream, to run after his passion. And this one is the first thing, follow they all actually follow their passion. The second one is they have the freedom in life. Like if you do any job for other company, most probably you do not have any freedom, because whatever your boss will say, you must have to do that. Again, they all have impacted, they have created a greater impact in terms of your country, and also had been the inspiration for a lot of other countries as well. As in terms of all this company, there are a lot of other countries that, yeah, so there are a lot of other countries that they actually take the inspiration from your startups as well. As recently I have seen that India is the most probably second in the position of in terms of vibrating startup ecosystem. So you have already a good setup as your government and other bodies are giving to you. So all the startup actually have created impact. As a startup founder, your one of the priorities to create impact beyond making money and other things. So then another thing is like, experience of new things. So like this, in this pandemic, you can find hundreds of new startup born, hundreds of new sectors, new sector specific startup created, hundreds of platform startup created. How they actually feel to start this venture? Only because of they have found an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn new thing, and opportunity to make things happen with new impacts. All the startup founders have their control in their lifestyle, like Ritesh and like other startup who have your in your community. They have total control of their lifestyle. They have that financial interdependence. They have learned new skill always, because during this pandemic, hundreds of thousands of companies actually shut down. Why they actually shut it down? One of the thing is they actually didn't thought of the adapt. They are this sort of challenge taking mentality, one of the thing. And another thing is the adaptability is the key, because during this pandemic, those company, many of the company like Zoom actually boosted up and uh, I mean, done something phenomenal. And some of the companies actually shut it down because they actually not being adaptive with the situation. So as a startup founder, you must think of like being very adaptive with whatever situation. Maybe you are doing something, a situation came, you should be pivoted to another way, or you must be you might change the business model. You might think of new segmentation. You might think of expanding or squeezing some of the parts of your venture. So by this way, you can actually squeeze up and also boost it up at the same time. And there, another thing is, as a startup fund, I mean, founder, like I have put it these 8 names. I mean, these 8 pictures. Why? I thought of like they are the family. I have the familiarity of their faces. I mean, they are the brand for me. So they have their own personal brand. They have created their own personal brand. That's why I put their name there in these pictures as well. And they all have great stories to tell. In my upcoming slide, you might see one of the things that is in Bangladesh, when I started doing things on entrepreneurship back in 2015, 16. So on that particular time, nobody actually, people have actually, uh, what can I say? People has a different, people actually do not have any understanding of entrepreneurship. On what is this? Entrepreneurship, they know about doing business, but they do not know about entrepreneurship. So on that particular place to till now, we have done something phenomenal. And in terms of a startup ecosystem, we are growing as well. In the maybe in the coming days, I'll share a lot more things if I get another chance there in the coming days. So a lot of startup has been formed. A lot of startup founders came forward and doing something phenomenal. All are very young, and I have found many great startup founder who actually started their venture in their student life. As Professor Prof. Rakesh actually told that I'm teaching entrepreneurship, and you'll be happy to know that this is the only university in the whole country who have separate entrepreneurship department. We are trying to create entrepreneur in this department, not the job seeker. So we used to focus on this. So we are very selective in terms of picking up the students who will be, I mean, we are very selective. We are giving a scholarship those who are actually wanting to do business or being entrepreneur. So from that particular case, I have found that like almost 70% of my students in my department, they have started their own venture. I'm not telling a startup because a startup is another story. Like in my department, there are 10 or 12 great startup in my country. So they have created impacted from my university and my department. But 70%, in this 70%, they have actually started their venture in a traditional way. So that's why I'm not telling them the startup. As you know that if you want to tell something a startup, so you must have to have some innovative things on that particular venture. So that's why I'm telling that 70% of them actually started their venture, but not a startup. But 10 of the great students of mine, they have started their venture, I mean, startup very early. Like I have one student who is studying in 3rd semester, and he has built a great startup. I will share in the coming slide, or coming in the coming days as well. So then I used to tell this is entrepreneurship. Like if you want to be a venture founder, or if you want to be a venture creator, or the founder of a company, or being an entrepreneur, this is your 4 stage of your whole journey to become an entrepreneur. That is, first one is the dreamer. Many of the, I have found that at least more than 90% of people actually fail in this particular phase, because they actually started to find their ideas. They actually started dreaming, but in the coming days, they actually are not going to execute something. So only ideas is not okay for me. So in my department as well, I used to focus on whatever idea you have, start. Then you may fail, but somehow whatever you have learned, This could be something phenomenal. So this could be a great learning for your upcoming journey to become entrepreneurs. So first one is dreamer. In this phase, actually, startups or you as a founder actually in the idea phase or ideation phase. Second one is the dabbler phase. Like dabbler phase is like you are in the very amateur situation. Like you have built an MVP for your particular product or service. MVP means like minimum viable product for your venture, to show the customer that this is something you are going to start, or this is something you want to build. So from dabbler to doer, you have started the real venture. And in this phase, many people actually started their venture, but they couldn't become the dominator of their particular sector. So this could be something. This is another phase where the startup founder actually become very stick on doing their venture, but they are not scaling up in terms of their community. They are not scaling up in terms of their country, or even many of the startup like Zoom. What they did, they have created a platform, but almost every country in the whole world now are using Zoom. So how they actually build this? They are the dominator of whatever sector they are. So in this dominator sector, the startup founder really must, they have to work on it, because like from dreamer to dominator phase, it is a very tough journey. It is a long journey as well. So in this fourth phase, wherever you are now, I think many of you are in the dreamer stage. My suggestion to you is that to start something, whatever idea you have, you start something right away. So if you start something, you can learn something. Otherwise, in the coming days, you will actually lose focus, or start thinking of something else. So if you are in the dreamer phase, try to become the dabbler, then go forward, or try to make some changes with your ideas, try to shape up the strategy and so on. So by these four stages, and it is your time. I'd be after the end of the session, you might think of which stage you are, and right away start thinking of starting your venture. Then like common mistakes of finding startup ideas. This is one of the common mistakes I have found in a lot of cases, as I'm being part of a lot of accelerators, incubators, and a lot of other bodies who are actually working for this startup. So first mistake I have found, that those who are in the idea stage, that is every one of them actually wait for an amazing or game-changing idea. They were very strict that I will do something when I will find some brilliant idea or game-changing idea. Otherwise, I will not do that. So this is one of the mistakes. So all the ideas are good. Like you can actually see some stories like Facebook or Google. When Google actually started, it was the most probably the 20 or 20. There are more than 20 or 20 plus search engine there. But if Google thought of like, I need to think of it again, that it is a good idea or not, then Google will not be possible to become where Google are now today. So this is one of the things. Don't think too much about amazing idea or something. Whatever you are thinking of, start it right away. Then jumping into ideas without evaluating it if it is good or not. So this is another mistake, that you have idea. I'm telling that start with that idea, but do not start with that idea until or unless you have a proper evaluation on that idea, that this is working, this will work for my customer or not. So this is the first thing. Evaluate your ideas. Maybe in a days, we as a human being, we have a lot of ideas in our mind from morning to till night, but all the ideas are not good. So you have to evaluate those ideas in a proper way. I'll give you some more tips on it. Then starting with solution in mind. This is another mistake. That is, always think of the solution, rather think of the problem or the needs of the consumer. Many of the startup, actually recently I was being a part of one of the startup competition. One of the guy come to that competition, and they have made one robot and so on. I asked them, where you actually will sell that, and who is your customer? He do not have any idea, but he is telling that this is a great idea, $1 billion idea or something like this. I'm telling you that this is also a big mistake, that you are thinking of solution in my, like you are thinking of solution, I'll do this, but what is the problem you are going to solve? Keep this in mind. And then cannot find the idea, or thinking of finding ideas is hard. I mean, many of them are actually thinking that ideas are very hard, but it is not that so. But you might have 5 ideas, think of it, evaluate it, and start with the bestest possible ideas you have in your mind. Don't go with someone else's idea to, fulfill someone else's dream, rather doing yours one. Okay. So then this one, evaluating startup ideas, I am telling that you are thinking of this one, like you are not evaluating your idea, and whatever idea come to your mind, you start a business, not doing this. Rather, you need to think of this 4. I have a very favorite, matrix of this one, like Dalton from Y Combinator given this in his one of the lecture, that is how you need to evaluate your startup idea. He actually give 4 questions, and there is a scale of 1 to 10. First question is how big the idea, how big the idea you are thinking of, or how big it could be. I mean, in the coming days, let's say in next 3 years or 5 years, how big it could be. Then the founder and market fit. Like you are thinking of a company of a technology company, but you are not a background of a tech people. So then you need to rethink that I will be able to make this solution marketable or not, or I need to add more team members within my company. So as a founder, as a market fit, you need to think of it as well. So second question. Third question is, how sure are you that this is solving an acute problem? Like, as I told that many of the startup actually thinking of the solution, not the problem. So this is not good. So as a startup owner, as a business owner, you need to always think of a problem in your mind. What problem you're going to solve with your idea. That's the very important. And lastly, but whatever ideas you have, you might have a new insight. So that's it. So I'll be very quick because the time is very short. So then focus on adding value and solving problem, not doing something else. Rather this thing. As a startup founder, you used to focus on adding value to your community, your customer, your country, maybe in the world as well. So this is one of the things. Then your idea or your solution should be human-centered. What is human-centered? What does it mean? I used to tell this as you need to step you need to work with the shoe of your customer. Then you can actually understand the customer problem, and by which you can actually create a human-centered design or human-centered solution with your venture. So human-centered design is must nowadays. Every single big startup in your community, in any of the countries in the whole world, now are following or focusing on human-centered solution or human-centered design in their venture. Then MVP is the second phase. Like after you have idea in your mind, you have evaluated the idea that it is a great idea. Then you should go for MVP, minimal viable product, for your testing of that particular idea within your customer, within your the potential investor that I'm going to build this one. Like in the idea phase, if you want to raise investment, you must have to have an MVP at least. Otherwise, with paper and pen and papers documentation, you will never get an funding from any of the investors. So must have to have a minimum viable product for your business, minimum viable product, or a small version of your working product should be there to show your customer that this is the thing I'm going to make, and this will solve this problem of yours. Will you buy this? So then test first, fail first. I used to say this because many of them are actually using to think of I build the product first, then I'll go to the market, I take feedback and so on. But many times I have found that many of the startup actually fail because they actually come up with the product, the product without evaluating those from the potential customer. So test the product first. How you will test that? Build an MVP for it. Build an MVP. Cross check with your potential customer. Take the first-hand feedback from your customer or the potential investor. Then if it will not going to work, pivot it or do something else or add more values to your solution, then it might going to work. So test first, fail first, and this will give you a very great learning for your potential market or target market, and also it will make your product market fit as well. So now the launching your venture, it's the key. Then after this, like MVP and so on, you will launch your venture. But there is another thing, that is, many times I used to listen this from many of the people, that how I can get money. But I must tell you that if you want to build something very new, other than the traditional one, you will get the investment from whoever investment or from wherever they are, until or unless you have a proven track record. So maybe like, let me put you this one. So how you can raise funding? First one is bootstrapping. I used to tell in the idea phase, you have to invest your own money or your family's money or your friends' money to your venture to raise further money, or to have some more paid customer for your particular product or solution before going to a potential investor. So bootstrapping is, the money of your friends and family, or yours, by yours money. Maybe you have some money, you have invested your whole money to your venture. That is called bootstrapping. Then crowdfunding. Many of the online sites like Kickstarters and so on, they have a greater platform. You might check it. Kickstarter, they have a great platform where people actually get crowdfunded. Huge amount of money they have raised by those platforms. They have actually crowdfunded and started their solution. Then angel investment is also a great part of in the idea stage as well. If you get angel investment, the first benefit is like you will get a mentor as well, because angel investors are those who have a great industry experience, who are actually have good amount of money. They are now wanting to invest their money to a startup. So this is one of the way you can raise money. Then venture capital. If you have a good track record, good proven track record, you will go for venture investment. But in the idea stage, some of the venture capital actually support or give some incubation support or mentorship, or even giving you the money to test the product as well. So it could be another one. But for venture capital, one of the thing is it is a equity partnership. So this is one of the things. But some percentage of your ventures, it varies to venture capital firm to firm. Some percentage of your ventures or share give to that particular venture capital. So this is one of the constraint of this one. And some of the business incubator and accelerator, if you're in the very early stage, go for some incubator or accelerator program so that you can get some greater ideas and so on. And lastly, bank loan is not, usually I do not suggest it for the startup. It could be suggestible for the SMEs, especially. You know, the process of bank loan as well is very common. So then the traction for gaining investor confidence. Traction means you have a proven track record, you have a paid customer. Like you have bootstrapped your business, you have angel invested your business, you have built solution, you have some customer. So in the coming days, whenever you are going to raise money, show this traction to your potential investor that I have this amount of customer for this particular product. It will give actually your investor and confidence to invest in your startup. So this is very important. And know your market first to build marketing strategy. And now coming back to the marketing strategy. So in marketing is my favorite subject as Professor Rakesh told that I'm also a teacher of marketing. I used to teach the digital marketing and social media marketing. So I have, I'm also be a part of a lot of startups as the marketing strategist as well. So especially digital marketing. So I used to follow this. This is actually my method actually, what I actually follow. First thing is who is my customer. I used to design a buyer persona, like they are my potential customer. Then why they will buy my product. Then I used to find from where I'll get those customers, like some of them, for some of my business, it is very suitable. I'll find my customer to social media like Facebook. Some of them are in Instagram. Some of them are in LinkedIn. If you go for B2B business, there is no better platform than LinkedIn. Go for that way. And like recently, I found another thing that is in Japan. Twitter is one of the most popular social media. So for marketing something in the startup in Japan, you go for like Twitter marketing is there as well. And how? I used to find something like when you were going for a marketing strategy for any of the early stage startup, they used to think of how rather than doing this. So this is very wrong. So how is the last thing? First thing is, I mean, documentize all these. Then you'll go for how. How you will actually market your product. What could be the potential content? What could be the message I will convey? Message means I mean, it could be the email marketing technique. What could be in your email body, or even like in your social media? What could be the caption? So this could actually give you a good vibe of making your proper marketing strategy. Then another thing I actually do that this is, I mean, for your marketing strategy, follow this 10 step. I used to follow that. Firstly, I set a goal, then create detailed document. I'll make a strategy, I mean, all out strategy. Then I'll be very clear about, I mean, creating my message and on the captions and what tone I'll talk to my consumer as well. Then create a content marketing strategy, like I create the content. I put this in my Facebook. I put this in my Twitter. I put this in my LinkedIn, or I will put these sort of things in my email. So I must have a content marketing strategy. Then I'll distribute the content to create to my team. Then I'll run ads to short term, so that I can actually reevaluate the process, it is going on or not. Then I will, if your product is going really good in very early stage, then you should actually do a lot of digital peers and so on. Then measure and improve your customer lifetime value. That is very important. So this is a big term. So you should learn this as a startup founder. Then establish and cultivate your reputation. And finally, and most importantly, automate your whole process to make things more productive. And this is called the goodbye funnel. I really like this one. Nowadays, in the previous, like 5 to 10 years back, people are used to follow, or marketers are used to follow this: marketing, sales, and I will get the customer. But this is not the strategy. Rather, people or I actually use these first. I actually find the customer journey, like my customer is, whenever my customer is in the awareness phase, so what should be the marketing strategy I should have follow? When they are in the findability phase, what should be the marketing strategy I should follow? When should be the reputation phase, what should be the marketing strategy? Then conversion phase, and then advocacy. Like ultimate goal is this one: my customer will be my marketer. So word of mouth marketing. So my ultimate goal should be this one. So people are using my product, and they will be they will talk on behalf of my company. So this is the ultimate goal for a company. And for making a marketing strategy successful, you should follow this one. And I have given the source. You can actually check it out. Nowadays, this is the, I mean, circular model. People actually, the top marketer actually follow, rather than, I mean, one waterfall model or something like this. So then another very important thing, I used to do this. I use social media, like especially, I mean, Facebook, Instagram as my customer center. People in social media, many times they will actually comment on your pages, product, or something like this, or even they will message you. I mean, do very instant replies and so on, so that they will feel very empowered. So take or do your social media or use your social media as your customer care. That's very important. Then another very important thing is finding the right mentor. Maybe in your university, there are a lot of faculties who you actually love. I mean, you love their teaching style. You love sharing your stories with them. You love sharing your ideas with them. Find the right mentor. That will actually give you, like, they will actually improve your journey. They will actually be the successor of your ideas or so on. They will actually reshape those. They will actually train you. They will motivate your work, or they will support your work as well. And they will, importantly, inspire your journey. So that could actually make your journey more smoother. Then another thing is how you will actually find the mentor. One way you can find this, find Like you want to start an e-commerce venture, find someone who is actually very experienced in this sector, like the experienced CEO of an e-commerce venture. So one of the thing, then find your professional group in social media, in your various global networks on of entrepreneurship, startup, investment, that could actually give you a right mentor. Then incubation and acceleration program will give you a greater place where you can find mentors. And why not dreaming big? Like you are following someone, for example, you are following Sundar Pichai or Shoto Nadella, try to reach them. Nowadays, you can actually, you should, as a startup founder, you should actually dream very big. It will actually make you, bigger in the coming days. So by this way, you can actually find mentor. One of the key thing is your team. Maybe you have an idea. If you do not have the team, if you do not have the right talent, you could not actually make this product sustainable in the long run, or it will actually be the curse for you in the coming days, or maybe it will close. There are a lot of stories, like I don't want to mention there any of the one's name because it is recording. So there are a lot of startups who actually failed. In fact, in Bangladesh recently, one of the startup actually have a big scandals on their financials because of their team's fault. So it actually happens. So make sure you have a right team and right talents. And why I'm telling this, recently we have done one startup ecosystem report in Bangladesh, and we have found that the topmost problem of our startup in Bangladesh is finding the right co-founder and also finding the right team, good team. So among these many problems, these are the top two problems, as Bangladesh, India, Pakistan is very close. So I think maybe in your places, it is also very common that like finding the co-founder or finding the right team is the biggest problem for making your startup launch. So make sure you have a good team. Do not focus on emotion, like emotionally you make your friend as the co-founder. Not like the business game is not like this. I mean, there should not be some emotion on this, but somehow you need to be very realistic on picking up the right people. Then this one, automate and maximize the productivity. Like many of the startups I found that they have telling me that after 6 months or 1 year, I'll start automating my venture. I said no. From the day one, you need to work on automating your venture to maximize your team's productivity, as also as a founder, you will be very clear about what is going on in your venture. So from day one, wherever possible, make a good stack of technology and integrate in your venture. I'm very close to wrapping up the whole presentation. Then be always ready, like the COVID, this sort of situation will come, but you should be very adaptive and you should be very stick on what you are doing as a venture owner. So this will actually give you a greater vibe on the coming days. Then study the failure story. People actually love to listen the success story from the founders, but I said always try to. I have last year I did one conference, that is failures conference. I picked a lot of startups in that program. I asked them, share your failure story only, not the success one, because from the success story people actually get the motivation, nothing else. But from the failure study, and from that failing perspective, they have come to an wherever they are now. That could be something need to be shared with the people who are listening to you. So learn from the failure story. This will actually make you think of how you will actually overcome the obstacles as the startup founder. Then again, they all have a great stories, no doubt about that. In the beginning of the slide, I have shown these people, and I must say that be an entrepreneur for not only changing your life as a startup founder, but also others' life who were working for you as an employee, like their family is actually dependent on your company or so on. Like startup founders actually build an empire of something like this. And again, I am telling you another thing, like not all of you maybe wants to become an entrepreneur. So what we supposed to do? These people, this should be someone also very iconic person. I really like them. Like you have in your country, country born people like They are the CEO of IBM, Reckitt Benckiser, like Google, like Microsoft, like Mastercard, and so on. Even in the PepsiCo and so on. So and like the WeWork, a lot of others. So they also have greater story to tell as well. So if you don't want to become an entrepreneur, try to become someone, or like you want to become an employee of Google. Dream it like I will be the CEO of Google one day. So this way you can be the leader as well. And these sort of people who actually dream like this way, they will be, I mean, become big in the coming days. So what I'm telling you, that is, be an entrepreneur or the leader of your dream company. This is the last thing I must tell you. So that's all from my side. I think I have given some thought of like studying venture or so on, and I really love to listen some question from you. And these are my, you can find me in all the social media. I'm very active. Don't hesitate to reach me out if you think that I can be in support to make your dream venture successful. So thank you so much, Prof. Rakesh. So over to you, and I'd be happy to listen some question from your side.
So, and thank you, Asif sir, for your excellent presentation. And even I should call it a talk. And in a very short time, you also highlighted the main features of the startup, how to get started. It was a fantastic session that you have delivered, and I know that, and I'm assured you, it will be the joint collaboration with the Rungta College of Engineering and Technology and Daffodil University. I hope we will jointly work together, and I know you are doing fantastic work in the domain of entrepreneurship and startup. So please share all the events, and we will definitely participate in that all events. So thank you so much, sir. Manoj sir,
Thank
it
you.
is happy to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Asif sir. It was wonderful listening to you. Such a young age, and you have done so much of work in innovation and entrepreneurship area.
Thank you so
We
much,
are
sir.
fortunate to have you here this afternoon to listen to you. So this young, energetic lot will definitely bring Lawrence and do a lot of things in coming days. So we have a lot of expectations, and we will definitely work jointly, as Rakesh sir has said. So we are also working on that area. We have started in institution innovation cell, and in that area, I just wanted to ask you. So basically, like your department is basically on innovation and entrepreneurship. Can you highlight like how you can innovation be taught, and what are the methods you try to adopt to teach innovation to the students? Because thinking creativity is basically sometimes a lot of people say that it is inborn.
Yeah.
So how you do it?
Like what I did, like this department, actually, I am very fortunate that when I started my journey as a teacher in the university back in 2016, so I was given the chance to establish this department in a new way. As I'm telling, still now, this is the only department in the whole country we have. None of the university actually make this sort of activity or department. So in our department, as what can I say, uh, from admitting any students to the graduation, what do we do? As I told in the beginning of the session, that when we actually admitting any student, we are very selective on select. We do not actually pick all the students. Like, we are selecting those who have at least an idea. Whatever idea they have, we are trying to shape those idea so that they will actually come to be an venture owner in the coming days. We are actually trying to make those innovative one, but usually we try to make this a good venture. So like in our department, there are 4 year, like 4 year, first year, second year, third year, 4 year, like start to the graduation. So our departments, one of the thing is they must have to have a venture before for being as a graduate from our department. So this is one of the criteria. And another criteria is from the early, as I told, that they must have an idea to join our department. And first year is the ideation year. We just I mean, giving them a lot of activities, a lot of tasks. They are I mean, in our department, we are not focusing on our university grants commission's methodology of teaching, like the examination, this marking and so on. Many of the subjects is taught in such a way so that this subject is very helpful for his venture. Like I'm teaching digital marketing this semester in one of my batches student. So in that batches there are around 35 students. My all the tasks were set in such a way that they are in the final year students. So my all the tasks were set from their digital marketing study strategy for their particular venture, not for other sectors. I'm giving the task based on their venture, a specific task. By this way, we actually trying to grow or create a great mindset before being graduated from the venture. Even not only that, we have created a funding opportunity for our students. On our department student, we have a small funding from where we can actually give the seed funding for starting their venture. And also we have the collaboration with international bodies, and also we have the local venture capitalists. Those who are in the final year student are doing something great in terms of startup, they are getting funded from those venture capitals.
Okay. One question has come up from a participant that, do you find any difference in the personality of a person who goes for startup and other students in your university who is not involved in the innovation and entrepreneurship? Any personality difference?
Yeah, a lot. I found a lot of changes because as I told that when any of like great startup founders, I never heard of thinking of the problems, thinking of finding the problem. Like I have a greater opportunity to work with my university chairman. So he's the big, one of the top ranked entrepreneur in our country. So I am basically working with him as the his fellow, and that this is where I am actually fulfilling his dream to make this department a viable one. So I never seen him thinking of problem. Whenever I asked there, sir, I have found this problem, he just shut me up and tell me that this is the opportunity to solve this problem. So every single entrepreneurs I have found the same. They never thought of this problem. They always thought of, solving that problem. Like in COVID-19, whenever all the universities, in fact, almost 90% of the universities in Bangladesh shut it down. But he was one of the only man that he thought of that this is the biggest opportunity to make this university an online university. So digitalization, in terms of digitalization. So from like in March 18 of March 2020 he has given 12 days only to us as a team, and that to make this university an automated one, where the student is around 25,000, and you actually understand the way we actually taken the load, and by the grace of God that we have make it happen, and this is going really well. And in my background, whatever you are seeing, this is my university.
Oh, great. One more thing, like we have seen, we do have a lot of ideas coming up in our institution. Like students are coming, they are very energetic initially when they come up with startup ideas, and they want to do this, they want to do that. And I was very happy when I listened to you. We were also thinking that we have to bring in entrepreneurs to tell them the failure stories.
Yeah.
Because failure stories, because all of them come up with ideas and think that they will become big because they have not seen the failures. So I was happy to listen to you. But how do you make it sustainable? Like a lot of things, they come up, they start, they fail, they don't continue it. How you make it sustainable for the
what I used to do, not only in university, but as I being part of a lot of incubators, accelerators, and so on. Whenever I started working with any startup, I used to find out like the founder's interest. Like one of the founder came to me that he wants to do something on the agri sector. I tried to figure it out. Is he really capable of doing things, or do he or she has that interest on the agri sector really or not? The first thing, or his background and so on. Like one of the students, I must tell that he is doing really good. Like in Bangladeshi taka, if I say Bangladeshi currency, recently in Idul Azha, like in Muslim festival Idul Azha. He's a student of like second year student, but he has a net profit only on the Idul Azha around 30 lakh Bangladeshi taka, and only second year
Great.
student. So
Great.
I have found from the very beginning that he has a greater interest on agri sector. So I told them that go for this one, go for agri sector, you will do something great. He was a dilemma on ideas. He has a lot of ideas, but he couldn't actually evaluate those ideas and pick the right idea. Then I actually one day I went to his home. He was in a very rural area, and I found him. He is doing something on agri related activities. So then I asked him, do you actually like this sort of thing? He told me that yes sir, I really like. Then I asked him to do something like this, and now I'm this story I'm telling. He's
Great.
what he is earning, he's much more than us.
One more thing last I want to ask, like, can you just guide us what are the activities we should do for the students in the campus so that it can ignite entrepreneurship skills in them?
One of the thing is like you should have a like at least two incubation program in a year, two incubation program in a year, like one incubation program from January to June, and from July to December is another batch one, batch two. So from this you will actually pick the right people, or you actually make them or give them the support. Then if possible, try to collaborate with some incubator, or not only incubator, try to collaborate with the financial institute, so that they will actually your student actually get the confidence that I'll get funded, I'll get the opportunity to get funded. Then another thing is try to do some international collaboration or international activity. Like in my university, as I am being part of I'm leading almost all the international community in Bangladesh, or internationally startup related communities. Maybe if you want, I can suggest some of them, so that you can establish those in your university, so that you can connect with those community, what is happening and so on. By this way, you can actually connect your startups or your people or your students with the global community, so that they can actually understand what is going on globally, not only nationally but also globally.
Great.
So
Great.
these are the things you can do.
Yeah, great. It was really, we are thankful. It was great listening to you. With shortage of time, we are not able to have more of questions, and we could have continued discussing on this topic. And as we see, pandemic goes on, but pandemic has given us opportunity of Zoom, and we are able to connect and have this session now. That is also a great blessing. We can say an opportunity as such
Exactly.
for us to connect. And we will have more interaction in the coming days, and definitely we will work together and see to it that more ventures, more advantages for the student community as such, and we can have good startups and innovations in coming days. It was, and from the institution, Rungta group of institutions, I thank you for accepting our invitation, and special thanks to Rakesh Imte sir for connecting Asif sir to us, and to the principal Mohan Avasthi sir. Thank you all, and we are ending here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Rakesh, sir,
much.
anything more?
Yeah, thank you, Asif sir, and we will be connected online. That is the biggest power of ICT tool. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I'm giving my YouTube channel link. So in my channel, I used to do a lot of program, lot of activity, international activity, even not only in entrepreneurship, but also in terms of technology, in educational technology. So you can find a lot of activities there. And I'll be happy to be a part in the coming days as well, so that my only, as I support entrepreneurs, so my only target is to create impact. So wherever I'll get the chance to create impact, I'll be there for sure. So thank you so much, sir. And
Thank you
I'll be
so
really
much.
happy to be a part.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.